Good morning to my friends at SeemsGoodMagic.com. This is Travis Sowers, and we are jumping into an Eldritch Moon, or as I like to call it, emo draft. This is actually a fairly interesting pack from my perspective. I think there's a lot of defensible choices here. I'm going to take Dark Salvation. It's the closest thing to a 2-for-1 I can grab out of this pack, and that makes me pretty interested in it. I do think that there's conversations to be had about Certain Death, Brazen Wolves, Subjugator Angel, maybe even the Shrill Howler, and you all know my love for the Thermo Alchemist is indeed real. It's a real card. But it's a case where the rare, I think, is delivering more than everything else. We had a great conversation yesterday on stream about Blood Mist and how I don't end up playing cards like this very often, but there are times where this would go in a red deck and it will just run somebody over. I think it's a high variance card, but I think a lot of defensible picks here. This is a very good pack, but pretty happy starting with Dark Salvation. It's good on making one zombie and killing an next one, and it just gets better from there. It's also relatively splashable. From here, like Blessed Alliance is probably a better card. I can make these cards bigger. We got plenty of room here. Let's just do that. Want to make it the best possible viewing experience and also stall for a little bit while I think about what I want here. Because like Ingenious Scab is great. Dutch, what the hell, man? Get off of my desk. No. You don't just get to jump up there because you want my coffee. That's not how this works. Like, there's an argument to take Certain Death. I like the card. I like having one in my deck. It does make sure that something's just handled. I mean, if I'm going to be blue-black zombies, I want this in the deck. And I like Ingenious Scab a lot anyway. It's the best card in the pack. I think it might be Certain Death. Like, it's impossible to say we're getting signals about blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take the Certain Death. I'm not certain about this one. It could even be Blessed Alliance. But I think I'm going to start here and kind of see where we go. Well, now. That's a clear shot. It's also a Vexing Scuttler, which I think is pretty cool. And a Boon of Emrakul, which I think is pretty cool. And a Weaver of Lightning, which I think is pretty cool. I think a third pig clear shot is somebody saying, hey, I don't want to be in green. Will you be in green? And while it's not easy being green, I think this is a clear opportunity for us to move in. We'll have to pick up some dudes, and we're not going to have more zombie shenanigan synergies, but that's okay. I guess you could continue just taking black removal spells here, but this one's high enough up there that I'll grab it. Grapple. I actually like Grapple with the past. I like Sigarden Priest too. There's a chance we could be black-white, like Liliana's Elite wants to play in this deck. I suppose there's still a possibility that we're not playing green and like Blue Zombies opens up. Because Liliana's Elite can be a very powerful card if you're doing some self-mill. Of note, we don't have, it would be our first creature. So, going to be some problems there. Although if I end up in green, I'm going to be playing stuff like the Grapple with the past. I'll give this a shot. It's either that or the Foul Bloods, and I haven't had enough experience playing with this yet. Well. There's Dutch's Invitational card. There's a Cultist Staff. I've moved up a good bit on that. There's also just a green-black 3/2. I don't love it. I don't hate it either, though, do I? It's not a zombie. I mean, it kind of says nobody's in green-black. Yeah, it's either this guy or these, and may as well grab it. I mean, maybe it's relevant. It's a plant skeleton. How often do you get to say, I have a plant skeleton in my deck? It's kind of like a skeleton wearing a plant for a toupee. It's so weird. Well, we've got some late cards here that are later than I would expect. Prey Upon, I don't think it's as good as I thought it was, but I still think it's pretty damn good. That said, I can take this Uvenwald Captive and kind of be sad that the Thermo Alchemist is here. because I have a great respect for that card, as you know from my last draft. But I think Uvenwald Captive is the best green common. There, I said it. It's better than Prey Upon. And I'm going to take it, and I'm going to be happy about it, and we're going to move along with our life. Sometimes you don't quite have enough malevolence, and you need to borrow some. I like having one of these in my decks, too. It can be a removal spell. It can be a combat trick. It slices, it dices. It kind of just does all the things. Let's get some Bard Malevolence going. I've gone down a lot on the Swift Spinner. I was talking about this some on stream the other day. It just kind of doesn't suit up very well against the format. I'm used to there being like 2-3 flash flyers, and those were good because you could flash them in and surprise attack, but this guy can't beat through anything. He's just there to ambush flyers, which is neat, but it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to take the Graft Rats. If we pick up the Wombo combo, that'll be pretty cool. I have done that in the format, and it has been good. What the hell? Why would you do this? Do people not understand what this card does? Okay, maybe we should be green-red? I just don't understand what's happening here. I legitimately do not understand, because Brazen Wolves are fantastic. That said, I think we've moved into what we're doing, and I'm going to take a Swift Spinner, but go ahead and start typing in the comments now about how I let an amazing blue-red spells deck pass through my hands. This was an interesting draft to navigate. Just said I don't really love the Swift Spinner, but here we are. I'll take another one. We might side it in if we're playing against somebody that's doing shenanigans. I have played Bloodbriars, and they have been okay. We don't have anything currently that interacts with it. But it's not super unlikely that we get Vessels in the last pack. I mean, you could play a Terrarian if you want Delirium anyway, which this deck might. Same with the Supplicant. Like, you don't need Madness cards for this guy to do what he do. Alright, I'll take Duchess card now. Like, sometimes you have a higher life total than your opponent, and you can kill them with a Skurrzdag Supplicant. It's not a bad pack one. It's kind of weird. The red seemed just scary open. Some of the drafts I've done in this format have kind of been like that. Kind of just like, what the hell are people taking over this stuff? All right, well, if we're in, I really like Shrill Howler. I think all of the green werewolves are just great. I like Boon of Emrakul too, but I think I like this guy better. Like, if you're able to get it through once, it starts to do a thing. The fact that there's limitations on what can block it mean that you can sometimes get it through with removal. Classic green-black zombies, Travis. Yes, classic green-black zombie werewolf, Eldrazi. Plant Skellington. You guys know how I do. Ooh. All of the cards. There's assembled alphas, which are fantastic. But there's cards for what we're doing, too. Am I really going to pass assembled alphas after I've already passed 2 Brazen Wolves? I think I might. We've got 3 removal spells. Prey Upon is good, but not... I don't think as good as a Kessig Prowler. Are you 100% set in what you're doing, Travis? That's what you need to ask yourself. Because this is really good. All this really says is somebody's not in red. Alright, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 black cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green cards. I could take the assembled alphas and move into black. I'm running out of time. I've thought about it too much. I'm going to keep the rails on, and we're just going to move along. Continuing to see good red cards. I know this will hurt Alex deeply. I like this card too for what it's worth. But Cryptbreaker is broken. Solid reason to be black. In fact, I played a standard deck in the standard gauntlet on stream yesterday that ran 4 Cryptbreakers, and it was great. I loved it. So I have no idea what's open. Basically every color except the cards I would want to pick. I like Rise from the Grave. I don't love Rise from the Grave, but like you need some number of 5s, and if you don't get a better one, this is fine. It gets a little better with removal. Like, we're not really thrilled about rising any of our dudes, but if we pick up a bomb in the last pack, or we can kill our opponent's bomb, it gets pretty good. I'll play a Rise from the Grave, sure. Drownyard Behemoth, you say? I think Drownyard Behemoth is actually pretty good, primarily because of the flash. Now, I realize we don't have a way to splash it yet. That's what you need to be thinking when you look at this card, is we don't have a way to splash it yet. But there's fixing in the last pack, and if I pick it up, I will play this. Because just, surprise, kill ya. It's pretty cool. We'll see. This is a very speculative pick, but I'm not really missing out on anything. I do like the Supplicant. I don't need to. Eight of the Hearts Worms, just okay. Vampire Cutthroat's pretty meh, and Crop Sigil doesn't actually do anything. So we'll take a little speculative pick here. I don't like need to jam 2 drops, but I do like to have a couple. You know, we're probably fine on that. Although the Graph Rats are probably going to beat it since we don't have the other side of the combo. I'm thinking whether I want the Foul Bloods or the Wolfkin Bond. And these guys, like, who is he pumping? We don't actually have any humans yet other than the Supplicant. Yeah, I'd rather get the 2 drops out of the last pack. I think I'll just take the Foul Bloods here. Gavany Unhallowed I like. Again, the Cultist Staff I like. And this is probably our last shot at a grapple if I want one. Which I kind of do. I mean, it synergizes with the Rise from the Grave that we've picked. As well as the Liliana's Elite. But I think I'd rather just have a Gavany Unhallowed and cross my fingers that we can pick up a Vessel in the last pack. There's another Certain Death wheeling. I mean, not sure. I'll play 2, I think. I think I'll play 2. There's a possibility we succumb to temptation. At this point, I'm just going to hack the Thermo Alchemist. It's depressing, and I don't want either of those other cards. I don't want 2 borrowed Malevolences. Wolfkin Bond gets a little worse in this deck, considering we kind of need dudes, but I don't hate it. It's certainly playable. Same with the Druid. I think I'm more likely to side the Druid in than anything else. So what I'm going to do here is take out things that I'm not really like thrilled to play, but I can play, and we'll make a maybe pile. Right? So like the second spinner goes in the maybe pile. This is going to be a pretty easy ever after, I think. The Druids go in the maybe pile. Graft Rats in the maybe pile. Wolfkin Bond goes in the maybe pile. And it's possible we edge out one of these now that we've got multiple 6 drops. But this just gives you the kind of inevitability that I really am looking for. The fact that we don't really have amazing creatures is okay. It's just okay. It's going to be fine. Be fine. Well, there is a crawling sensation. So here we've got options of take the Colossus, which, I mean, sort of does a thing. We got a few zombies, right? We got 1, we got 2, we got 3. This makes a zombie, but this is whenever you cast. Yes, this is not a zombie spell. This doesn't do it. This is not a zombie spell. It doesn't do it. So it actually doesn't do all that much. It is another zombie for Crypt Breaker, but meh. We could take the Woodland Stream, or we could just take the Byway Courier and be pretty happy about it. I think the deck's good enough that I don't need to derp around with Drownyard Behemoths. And if this wheels, I probably will because I'm a monster, but I'll just take a Courier. Graph Mole, Accomplice. That's an interesting looking Stromkirk Mentor. Okay, they changed back to how they're supposed to be. Like, I kind of do want some number of 2s. We're getting all the fixing we could possibly want for this. Considering I'm 3 picks left, should I just take this? and then see if maybe we can hedge this guy in here. I probably don't need this much. Like if I take this and wheel that other one, then we just got basically a free splash for this guy. You know what, I'm going to try it. I've got a 2-drop I can play if I have to. I think it's quite likely we can find another one if that's really what we need. And like, I'm fairly happy playing 18 lands in this deck. Although the Evenwald Captive is sort of a land. I guess if that's the direction I'm going, the Scarecrow is just great too. I'm kind of wondering exactly what I think I'm going to kill them with. And I'm not sure about that yet. Like, I wouldn't mind one thing that can just kill them. There's a 2-drop I'll take. Like, we don't... I guess werewolves is what I'm going to kill them with. Yeah, werewolves. And Cryptbreaker zombies. And maybe this Hound of the Farbogs. We're going to put him straight into the maybes. Or just this. I give up on understanding what is happening in this draft. Yeah, the Vessel would be nice, but this just kind of does everything I could ever want done. And we now have some cool interactions with the Bloodbriar. Sweet. We're done here. So we can get a Lone Dryad from the Orzhovs, or we can get this Vessel of Nascency, which is probably just going to be great. I'm not sure what to cut yet, but we'll figure that out. Confront the Unknown 2 is a trick that I like. I've already got a trick, but this is a pretty good one. We will see. Yes, we will see. All right, now we could even play this Drownyard Behemoth if we wanted to. That's a pretty fun target for Ever After, isn't it? Let's think about that. Let's think about that. This kind of surprisingly came together right towards the end. I think Succumb to Temptation is a pretty easy cut. You can grab a Clip Wings here. I have sided that in some and been relatively happy with it. Same with Root Out for the board. I think there's just enough shenanigans going for me to want the Drownyard Behemoth, especially if I've got 2 lands. We could just cast it, we could hit it off a Vessel and reanimate it. Like, there's a lot of cool things happening here, and the duels, I think, are relatively low cost. See what we got going on here. Probably not enough 3-drops is what I noticed just looking at the deck. I think I've got enough card draw shenanigans going on that I don't really need the Succumb to Temptation. Right? Because the idea is that we're going to be... How am I going to be drawing cards? I had a plan for that. Oh, Cryptbreaker. That kind of does what that does. And the Evenwald Mysteries. Okay, so I can get behind that. Though it hurts me, I kind of don't want to Confront the Unknown, even though it replaces itself. The flexibility of Borrowed Malevolence is typically something I like. Like, it can just kill an X1 if that's what you need done, or it can win you a combat. I'm not super thrilled about this guy either. I kind of think I cut a mediocre 3 and move on with my life. One could argue that I cut one of the certain deaths. I like certain death. There's a certain certainty to it that certainly has me interested. Maybe this is just too cute, but I like the idea of, like, having this 5/7 flash that I just jump in and eat their dude, and they were like, why is he splashing blue? I don't know why he's splashing blue. I'll attack it, and BAM! Here's a giant crab. And then they finally deal with it, and boom! Here's another giant crab, and BAM! There's another giant crab. We're going to give them crabs. There's so many crabs. I'm not cutting the crab. I'm not cutting the crab. kind of just need to stay alive, huh? And probably have to cut the crab. I don't want to cut the crab. I'm not doing it. I'm cutting the crab. I don't want to, but I think it's the right call. I've got Dark Salvation as a 15th creature. What am I killing them with? Value? I'm killing them with value. I guess I am. Let's try this. And I can do the grown-up cut the crab thing later. But, like, I guess that's my plan, is kill them with value. Is there any other thing I can cut? I'm starting to run out of time. I could cut the Rise from the Grave, because I've got the Ever After. Because that's sort of just like a worse version of this, except I can take their stuff, and I may not want their stuff. Maybe that's the right call. Yeah. Okay, I can get behind this. I can do this. Let's do this. And then maybe make some changes later. So this gives me basically 2 free blue sources. I don't think I even want to play an island, even though I easily could. And I think we go 9/8 on the forests. Yeah. Like, I get the reason to play an island is that we have the Scarecrow, which is pretty cool, but I'm counting this as 2.5 sources with the vessel, and I kind of don't need this till late anyway. And it does start to screw up our mana if I put in an island for this guy. Man, I can see an argument for a lot of different things here, but this is what I'm running. What's up? I'll see you guys for round 1.